So you can find knees wide or knees together variation, but bring your big toes together to touch. And start off with a little bit more of a relaxed child's pose. So just soften into your arms. Soften into your shoulders. So your arms might not be fully straight, and that's okay. There'll be a slight curvature of your spine as you sink your hips back towards your heels. It might even feel nice to rock your forehead side to side a couple of times, just massaging out any tension or stress that you're holding in your face. I just want you to acknowledge how you landed today. Every time that we come onto our mat is a completely different experience. And when we come onto our mat with this expectation that this will go the same as it did yesterday or last week or last year, we truly set ourselves up for disappointment, or we set ourselves up for not being present because we're always looking to where we need to be rather than just where we are. So start today with being present of how you've landed, maybe of what's been going on recently, just how your physical energy is, and then also how your emotional energy is. Whether you feel like your cup is full and overflowing, or whether it's feeling pretty low, pretty empty. And then without lingering too much on how you have arrived, just start to bring some gentle awareness to your breath. So we don't have to add on judgments or stories or I'm sorries for how we showed up today. Just acknowledge that so that as you move through your practice, you can honor what you need in that moment. So just take a big, giant inhale breath through your nose, fill all the way up. And then exhale out through your mouth and just let your thoughts, stories release. Inhale through your nose, fill all the way up. And exhale out through your mouth. Let's take one more breath just like that. All right. Slowly start to peel yourself away from your mat. Lift your hips away from your heels. Walk your knees in hip-width distance, hands on underneath your shoulders. We'll start with traditional cat-cow. So as you inhale, drop your belly down, rise your gaze, rise your tailbone. As you exhale, press into the earth, curl and round your spine, chin to chest. Inhale, breath, open up through your belly, your heart, your throat. Exhale, contract through the front side, create space in the back of your heart. Let's take one more round of cat-cow. And use your exhale, press as hard as you can into the ground to rise, and then gently release to a neutral spine. We're gonna add in a little bit of movement that's a little bit different. We'll start to take your right hip towards the back right corner of your mat. And then in about a half circle, you'll sweep your hips back towards your heels like you're coming into child's pose, and then sweep your left hip towards the back left corner. Okay, and then sweep back through center and over to the right. So you're creating little half circles with your hips. Start to find where the breath and movement interlace. Always think about half of the circle as being an inhale, and the other half of the semicircle being an exhale. Now you're welcome to just stay here, or you can create full circles, sending your hips forward, and then continuing in that direction. So just starting to warm up your hips, maybe in a way that you're not used to. So inevitably it might feel sticky, and that's okay. If you have been moving full circles, switch directions and just take about 3 more circles in that direction. Come all the way back through to tabletop. Make sure your knees still stack underneath your hips. Walk your fingertips forward, melting heart or puppy dog pose. Land your forearms to the earth. Take your forehead down towards the ground. And then hollow out through your armpits, like you're dropping your heart between your arms. Heart is literally melting towards your mat. Take a full deep breath in and feel your rib cage expand out to the left and to the right. And then soften, let your body get heavier as you exhale. Inhale breath, there's a lightness to be found. And exhale, the heaviness grounds you into this moment. Take one more full breath just like that. And exhale, soften. Start to walk your hands back up in towards your body. So that hands on underneath your shoulders. You tuck your right toes under and then slide your right heel back so right leg extends. Pivot open to the long edge of your mat on the right side. Left foot kickstands behind you. Modified side plank. Reach your right fingertips all the way up. Beautiful. And begin to draw your right fingertips over to the front. So you're creating this long line of lengthening through the right side of your body. Okay. Let's take 3 circles. Begin to rotate right fingertips towards the ground. Sweep them back behind you. And then maybe even open back to the wall, behind your shoulders. You take this nice and slow. Again, you might notice where the breath and the movement intersect. The next time that your fingertips sweep up to the ceiling, pause. Begin to lighten the load on your left fingertips. You might even lift up onto all 5. Peel the palm away from the earth. And then slower than you'd like, begin to raise your shoulders over top of your hips. Stand tall on that left shin. Continue this movement. Right hand will slide down your extended leg and left fingertips reach up and can begin to pour over. Now that lengthening through the left side body. Beautiful. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center. We'll meet back where we started. Left hand comes down as you exhale. Right fingertips reach over. Inhale, come back up through center, flowing through these 2 movements, working on some core strength. Exhale, peel towards the back of your mat. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. This time, left hand will plant and right heel lifts up. Okay, so you're in a modified half moon. Flex into your right foot like you're stepping on a wall. Feel that fiery sensation in your right hip. See if you can lift your heel up a little bit higher. Optional to stay here. Bend into your right knee. Reach your right hand back and grab a hold of your foot or ankle or shin. If you can't grab it here, you can always take the knee forward and then slide it back. Squeeze into your glutes to send your hips ahead. Nice juicy quad opener. All right. Gently release the grip of your foot. Extend your leg out, plant your foot, reach your hand all the way up. And then as you exhale, actually sit down onto your seat and the sole of your left foot will come into the inside of your right leg. Turn and pivot yourself to face your right leg. Inhale, breath, reach your fingertips up, grow tall through your spine. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Keep that length as long as you can. And then gently fold, hands float to the ground. Let's take 3 breaths with movement of your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Draw your collarbones towards your right big toe. Exhale to fold. Inhale, breath. Lengthen out your spine. You might lift your belly away. Exhale, fold, belly, heart, then head. One more time. Inhale, breath to lengthen. And exhale to fold. Walk your hands up in towards your hips so you're sitting tall through the spine. Left hand plants beside your left hip, similar to a modified side plank, but it's gonna be rock star. So press into your left hand to lift up onto your left shin. This time, draw your right fingertips all the way back behind you, and you're gonna begin to arc through the spine, so it's a little bit of a back bend, instead of having your spine completely flat. Beautiful. As you exhale, begin to turn to tabletop facing the front. Right hand comes down, right knee meets beside the left hip with distance apart. Optional, shift hips side to side, take a couple of cat-cows, just flesh out your spine over the next 3 or so breaths. You can let your head hang heavy. Movement can be whatever feels nourishing. All right, other side. Tuck your left toes under, slide your left heel back, straightening out your leg, and then turn and pivot open to the long edge of your mat. Left hand reaches up, right foot kickstands. Right hand can always come onto a block or up onto fingertips if this feels far to reach the ground. Left fingertips reach to the top of your mat, so you're taking that full body stretch through the left side. And then 3 full circles. Begin to rotate left fingertips towards the earth, back towards the back of your mat, and then up to the ceiling or even back behind you. Okay, slow this down. Even though this is a free flow, we don't have to race our breath to match the movement. Allow your movement to actually match this long, smooth, slow breath. The next time that your left fingertips come all the way up, pause. Begin to lighten into your right hand. Maybe you come up onto your fingertips. Optional, you can tuck your right toes if you need a little bit more stability. And then as you inhale, you'll start to lift up. All right. Find the other side. Left hand extends down your left leg, right fingertips draw over. Notice if you're crunching into your left side body. Try to lengthen through both so you can feel both sides of the rib cage, those muscles of the intercostals and the obliques working really, really hard to hold you up. All right, let's flow a couple of times. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale, right hand plants, left fingertips draw over. Inhale, breath, lift up through center, belly button to spine. Exhale, gate pose, left hand slides down your leg. Inhale, come up through center. Modified half moon, right hand plants down, left foot lifts. Flex into your left foot. See if you can lift the heel a little bit higher, really activating your left glute. Optional, stay here, work into the bind, bend your left knee. Left hand reaches for your shin or ankle or foot. And then peel your left knee back behind you as you spring your right hips forward. Open up through the heart, maybe even roll through the left shoulder. Gently release the grip of your foot. Extend back to your modified side plank. And then slowly begin to lower yourself down onto your seat. Sole of your right foot this time comes to the inside of your left leg. Turn and pivot your body to face your extended leg. Inhale, breath, reach your fingertips up, and then exhale to fold. Use 3 full breaths. Inhales where we lengthen. Exhales where you just drape and spill your body over top of your leg. Okay, so take 2 more breaths. Feel the different sensations in the back of your left leg as you dip and you rise. Slowly start to walk your hands back in towards your body. Rock star pose. Plant your right hand beside your hip. Lift up onto your right shin. You can take modified side plank or begin to open this up more for rock star. Left fingertips draw back behind you. Hips are fully forward. Squeeze your glutes. Draw your shoulder blades together. Beautiful. As you exhale, you'll gently begin to make your way back to a tabletop facing the front of your mat. Left hand circles down, left knee steps in. 3 breaths with movement. Wash and rinse out your spine, curling and rounding or sitting back. Okay. From your tabletop, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Float your hips up towards the ceiling and drop your heels towards the earth. You can always keep a soft bend into your knees. I always like to take movement the first time in here, so that might look like pedaling out your feet. That might look like raising up onto your heels and then dropping them lower towards the ground. Next few breaths are yours just to move through in a way that's nourishing. So instead of what did I do last week, what do I need right now? What feels good, what feels nourishing? Okay. From your downward facing dog, look forward. Come up high onto the balls of your feet and then ripple through your spine, high plank. Bring your shoulders over top of your wrists. Let's take that 2 more times. Take a full breath in. Exhale, ripple through your spine, downward facing dog. Hips lift high, press into your hands. Inhale, breath, shift forward, high plank, slow it down to match the breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time, nice and slow. Inhale, breath, ripple forward. And then lower all the way to your belly, so you can always drop your knees, elbows squeeze the sides of your rib cage. Set up for Sphinx pose, untuck your toes, walk up onto your forearms. Okay, so elbows will land underneath your shoulders, palms press down, middle fingers point forward. And then find that same breath we did in the fold. Inhale, press into your arms, open through your chest. You might even open through your throat. Exhale, soften into all of your muscles. Sink your heart between your arms. Head hangs heavy. Inhale, breath, lift up, press into the earth. Rise into a deeper Sphinx. Exhale, sink down, soften. Okay, 1 more time. Find your depth as you inhale. And then exhale, just less depth in your Sphinx. Slowly lower yourself down. Take your hands beside your shoulders. Full breath in. Long breath out. On your inhale, press up and back, child's pose. Send your hips to your heels. Lengthen through your spine. Take 1 full recovery breath in your child's pose. And then let's meet to down dog. Tucking your toes, hips lift up. Beautiful. Walk your big toes together to touch. Lift your right heel back behind you, but keep your hips square. So I know I always want to stack the hips. Turn your right toes towards the earth. You'll have less lift, but this is more about strength. Press through all 10 fingertips. Take some weight out of your wrists. As you exhale, warrior 1, step your right foot to the back of your right wrist, so a shorter stance. Turn your back foot to a slight angle. Left toes point out to the left. And then inhale, rise tall. Okay. If this feels really wobbly for you, just take a wider stance. Heel toe your right foot further out to the side. Warrior 1 is always a little bit sticky the first time we come into this, so let's flow a little bit. As you inhale, straighten your front leg, reach your arms up. As you exhale, bend into your front knee. Draw your elbows down beside you into cactus arms. Okay, inhale, breath, rise tall. Gaze can follow your hands. Exhale, become heavier. Sink your elbows down, bend into your front knee. Inhale, breath, rise tall. Exhale, bend into your elbows. Okay. 1 more time. Inhale, breath, rise tall. Exhale, warrior 1. Pause here. Interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and down. Draw your knuckles towards your left heel. Rise through the sternum. Full breath in. And exhale, hinge forward and fold, humble warrior. Hands can stay connected to your low back, or you can float your hands away from your body to work into the shoulders. Check in with your hips. Right hip likes to swing out to the side, so scoop that right hip back like you're drawing your right inner thigh to meet your left. Gently release your hands all the way to the ground. Turn and pivot onto your back toes. Lower your back knee down. Lizard pose. Heel toe your right foot outside of your right hand. So you're gonna have quite a bit of a wider stance. Beautiful. Turn your right toes out to about 1 or 2 o'clock. And then roll to the pinky side edge of that foot, still keeping the line of your foot, ankle, and knee all together, so you're not just dumping into the ankle. Now you can come up onto blocks. You can add in a twist, right hand to your right inner thigh. This should feel nice for your front leg that just did a whole lot of stabilizing work. Optional, take your right fingertips up to the ceiling, reach your right hand back, palm faces out, and then play with picking up your left toes. You might not be able to bind, and that's okay. You should still get the quad stretch, but you might be able to grab the top of your foot or pinky side edge of your foot. And then wherever you are, close your eyes and take 3 more breaths and see if you can find some gentleness into this shape. On your next exhale, if you have the bind or arm back, you'll gently release your toes to your mat, right hand plants. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and then step your right toes back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, your left heel comes high to the sky. Notice if you're stacking your hips. Try to turn your left toe slightly inwards and then lift through the glute. So really strengthening into the back of the body. Inhale breath, you can rise higher onto your right foot. Exhale, warrior one. Left foot will step towards the top of your mat. Turn and pivot your back foot. Once you feel steady in the feet, rise up. Now feeling this in towards your right hip, some compression in the left. Let's find depth through movement. Inhale, straighten into that front leg, grow taller. Exhale, bend into your knees, soften elbows towards the sides of the rib cage. Inhale, lift up, lengthen and reach. Exhale, soften and bend. 2 more. Spread your fingertips wide, grow taller. Exhale, sink heavier. And last one, inhale, breath, lift up. Exhale, warrior one. Pause. Interlace your hands with that awkward grip behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and down. Pause here for just 1 breath so you feel the steadiness, the opening of the heart. And then on your next exhale, begin to hinge and fold towards your front thigh. Humble warrior. A reminder that while we are playing into strength and playing into our own power, that there is humility, there is peace available. And for me, that's always in the breath. So can you allow your breath to be long and smooth, just as it was at the start of class, despite all of the sensations that you're working through right now? Release your hands towards your low back and then down towards your mat. Turn and pivot your back toes and then lower your right knee to the ground. Heel toe your left foot out wider, maybe towards the edge of your mat. Left toes will point out to 10 or 11. Roll to the pinky side edge of that foot if it's okay to get into the muscles of the glutes that you just worked really hard. Optional, add in a twist, left hand to inner thigh, or you're coming into your bind, left fingertips peeling up, reaching back, and then right toes picking up. Okay. Copper thinks you all look amazing. Okay, soften through your shoulders and really roll open through that left shoulder. And then on your next exhale breath, release your foot, release your hand down. Little bit different this time. Tuck your back toes to lift your knee. Step your right foot towards the outside of your right hand, yogi squat. Sink your hips down, toes still turned out to 10 and 2. Okay, adding in a little bit of movement. Walk your left fingertips out in front of your left toes. Inhale breath, reach your right fingertips up to the ceiling. Open up through your heart. Open through the inner line of your arms. Exhale, gently release from your twist. Right hand walks out in front of your right toes. Inhale the other side. Reach up through the left fingertips. And then exhale, come back through center. Okay, one more to each side. Inhale, open up through the chest. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Exhale, release through center. One more twist, open. And then exhale, release. Plant your hands, pick up your hips. Heel toe your feet out wide. So to the edges of your mat. You can even walk your hands a little bit more forward and then just shift your hips side to side. You can even draw an infinity symbol with your sacrum. So you're just loosening out your hips from that external rotation. Okay. Wherever you found yourself on your mat, heel toe your feet back hip width distance and walk your hands so they land under your shoulders and then fold ragdoll. Reach for opposite elbows, or you could interlace your hands behind your legs or behind your back. Couple of shifts side to side. Gently release the grips of your hands. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, rise tall, stand up. And exhale, gather your hands through heart center. All right, a little bit different this time. If you step back with your right foot, just make sure that when you turn to that side of your mat, that you're gonna face your camera. So you might need to move your camera, otherwise I'll be talking to your back the whole time. So actually don't move your camera, just step to the other side of your mat. So when you step your right foot back, you'll turn and face. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Starting at the top of your mat, drop your right hand down beside you. So your palm faces out. Begin to pick up your right heel and catch the inside of your foot into your hand. We're not coming to dancer's pose just yet. So pause, try to draw your knees together. So if that right knee wants to come out to the side, just gently guide it in. Squeeze into your glute and your hamstring. See if you can send your hips a little bit more forward. All right. Release the grip of your foot, but don't take it down yet. Draw your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze in a standing wind relieving pose. And then as you exhale, step your right toes all the way back, high lunge. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Awesome. Exhale, soften into your front knee, drop your right hip. Inhale, breath, reach to your fingertips. As you exhale, twist to your left. Left fingertips reach back, right hand reaches forward. Optional to exalt this, take your left hand down your back extended leg and right fingertips reach all the way up. Okay. Inhale, breath, sweep your left fingertips down and up, face the front again, crescent lunge. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Okay, facing the side of your mat, make sure your feet are intersecting, perpendicular. Left knee lands over top of your left ankle, should see the inside of your knee. Flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, breath, straighten into your front leg, reach left fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, warrior two. Let's take that 2 more times. Inhale, breath, lift up and lengthen. Exhale, warrior two. Okay, 1 more time. Inhale, breath, lift up. This time, keep your front leg straight. Exhale, just bring your arms back to the front and backs of your room. I always like to shorten the stance in triangle, so you can heel toe your back foot a little bit closer. Kick your hips back behind you. Hinge at your hips, reach through your left fingertips, and then take your left hand down your French shin, right fingertips reach up. Optional, you can always grab a block for this left hand, whether it's to the inside of your leg or to the outside. Okay, a little bit different. Half moon, begin to shift the weight into your front foot. You may need to bend into that knee. Left hand, I like blocks here, so if you have them, great. If not, take your left hand down to the ground and float your right heel off of your mat. We've been here before on our shin, so squeeze once again into your right glute. Optional, bend into your right knee and catch your foot. So this is gonna look really similar to where we were at the start of practice. Now you're just on your foot. So you know that you can do this. Whatever this variation looks like, just make sure it's nourishing for your body today. Rotate the right shoulder open, reach through the right fingertips. Beautiful. As you exhale, start to bend into your standing leg, lift back up, warrior two. It might be a shorter stance, that's okay. Straighten into your bent leg, turn and pivot those toes to the side of your mat. Hands onto your hips. Roll your shoulders up and then down. Inhale, draw your elbows back, lift through the heart. Exhale, soft bend in your knees, hinge forward with a flat back. Hands can release down to your mat. And you can just sway your body, almost like you're tracing your fingertips along the ground. Similar to how we moved the hips earlier in that wide-legged fold. Start to create a little bit more movement. So now start to bend your knees one at a time, side to side, almost like you're slinking along the earth, walking really, really slowly left and then right. Awesome. All right, the next time that you bend down towards your left knee, pause. You can stay up high, or you can sink your hips low and turn your right toes up to the ceiling, right heel presses down. Wherever you are, we're finding an opening like we did in yogi squat. Left fingertip reach out, or left forearm onto thigh, and then just draw your right hand all the way up. Optional, you can stay here. You can play with a half bind. So your right hand flips palm face out and reaches for your left hip. If you're coming into a full bind, you lean forward and your left arm wraps around your bent knee. Awesome. All right, gently on your next breath, you can release the bind, reach your hand up, and then release your hands down. Walk along the edge of your mat to turn to face the back and pivot all 10 toes so that they're parallel and both legs are straight, pyramid. Softly spill over top of your front leg. If your stance is really wide, just step your back foot up, release. Feel your right hip pull back behind you and the front of your left hip pulls forward. Look towards the new front of your mat. Step to a fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, breath halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Drop your left arm down beside your body, palm faces up. Okay, start to pick up your left heel for a quad stretch. Okay, so you're gonna catch your left foot into your left hand. Right hand can stay at heart center or on your hip, whatever is most comfortable. Find a spot in front of you that's not moving. And then play with squeezing your glutes. It'll feel like you're sending your hips forward, but they may not move at all, and that's perfectly fine. See if you can grow taller through the spine. All right, slowly release your foot. Take your knee to your chest. Left knee hugs in. Hands interlace on top of your shin. As you exhale, step all the way back to your high crescent lunge. You may need to readjust. Take your stance wider or shorter. Okay, once you've settled in, inhale, breath, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, sink down. Okay, one more inhale to lift up. This time, exhale, twist. Right hand reaches back, left hand reaches forward. Gaze can always follow your right fingertips. Option to exalt your warrior. Right hand comes down, left hand reaches up. On your next inhale breath, sweep your right hand down and up, face towards the back of your mat, and then exhale, open up warrior two. Okay, so you're gonna face the same side that you did the first time you were in this sequence. Perfect. Flip your right palm to face up. As you inhale, straighten into your bent leg, reach right fingertips skyward, left hand slides down your back leg. Exhale, breath, warrior two. Find more depth as you sink into your front knee. Inhale, lift up, press into the earth to rise taller. Exhale, warrior two. Okay, one more breath just like that. Inhale, lift up, Keep your legs as they are. Exhale, arms come back to front and back to your mat. Optional, shorten your stance. Kick your hips back, reach through your right fingertips, triangle. Right hand comes down and left fingertips reach up. Okay. Squeeze shoulder blades together, opening up through the chest. Allow your left hip to pull back, right hip to pull a little bit more forward. Setting up for your half moon, optional to use a block, or you can just walk your right fingertips towards the top right corner of your mat, bend into your front knee and float your left foot off of your mat. And now you can pause here, or bend into your lifted leg and catch with the arm that's reaching up to the ceiling. I know that this pose is challenging, so make sure that you're breathing. That even here in this moment, there's room for you to be. You got this if you want to come back into it for the last couple of breaths. All right, warrior two, bend back into your standing leg, release your bind. Left foot comes to the earth, inhale, rise up. Exhale, straighten into your bent leg, turn and pivot to the side of your mat. Interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and down. Inhale to lift through the heart. Exhale, dive forward, wide-legged fold. Hands can stay at your low back or they can float away from your body. You can sway your body. If you're feeling like coming to an inversion and you feel safe to do so, you're welcome to play with that here. We'll be here for about 5 full breaths. And let your breath slow down, especially if it felt like it was getting caught in your throat in the last pose of half moon. Lovely. All right. If you do still have a bind or you are in an inversion, just gently release back down, release your hands. Start to shift side to side again. So I almost think about being like a ninja, just slowly making my way into a space as quietly as I can, walking side to side. And then the next time that you come over to the right, you can pause. You can keep the hips high and right forearm onto thigh. Lift your left fingertips up, or right hand comes out if hips are down and you're tenting up onto fingertips. Gaze can always follow the left hand. You can pause here, or you can play with a bind. Left hand to your right hip. Wrap your right arm around your bent knee. If you fall out, you'll just land on your seat, so no worries there. Take just one more breath in the bind, not here for too long. And then if you are bound, you'll gently release your hands towards the earth. Turn and pivot to the top of your mat, pyramid. So shift your weight forward. You may need to shorten the stance and step your right foot up. And straightening out both legs, fold over top of your left leg. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Take a couple of deep breaths. Really lingering into your exhale. And then looking forward, walk your hands ahead of you and step to fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale, take your hands through to heart center. Okay. Now for this next pose, I do recommend a block. So block, a book, a water bottle, and you'll just place it at the top left corner of your mat, or if you have two, place them at the two corners of your mat. Okay, now you may not use this at all, but I always find that's pretty helpful. Okay. So coming back to mountain pose, let's take a couple moments to ground. So you can let your hands fall down beside you, palms face out. Close your eyes, and then start to root through your feet. So you may even feel a slight sway. And that's just reminding you that there's different corners of your feet you can press into the front or the back, left or the right. Maybe you press into all of them at once. Now lift your kneecaps up, begin to engage your quads. Draw your belly button to your spine. Lift your rib cage away from your hips, growing taller. Reach all the way up towards the crown of your head, and then feel the heaviness of your shoulders and fingertips. So like you're being pulled in 2 different directions. Feel how strong this really simple pose is. And then keep that strength as we move into this next shape. Inhale, breath, reach your arms up through center. Exhale, release your right arm down beside you like you're holding a tray, palm faces up. We're coming back into that quad opener, so bend into your right knee, catch a hold of your right foot. Make sure your palm faces up, so you should have the big toe edge. Now naturally, as you begin to kick into your hand, you're gonna start to hinge forward. So begin to take that weight of your foot, press it into your palm, and then you can pause wherever you're comfortable. Maybe you come into a more hinged dancer's pose. Now why that block is there is anyone who wants to play with candy cane can continue to hinge forward, reach your left hand for that block, and then you're in candy cane. Right hand still holding your foot, similar to a bind that you can find in your half moon, just a different entry. Okay, let's hold here for a couple more breaths. So if you did fall out, you have some time to come back in. Slow down your breath. Remember that this is just yoga. It's okay to breathe here. Okay. Now the fun part, if you are in candy cane, we're gonna try and come back up to dancer. So belly bend to spine, press through your left foot. Slowly, slowly, slowly come all the way up. Let's meet into standing. Hug your knee in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then gently release your foot back down, mountain pose. Roll out your shoulders. You can roll out your feet. You can wiggle around a little bit. Take whatever movement you need. Shaking out your hands. All right. Then we'll land into stillness for just a couple breaths and prep for the other side. Inhale, breath, fill up. Exhale, just let all of that go. Those last sensations, those thoughts. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, root towards the earth. One more full belly breath in. And exhale. All right, other side. Inhale, breath, reach arms all the way up. Exhale, drop your left elbow down beside you, palm faces up. Shift the weight to your right foot as you pick up your left heel and grab a hold of your foot from the big toe edge, so palm faces up. You want to stay here, beautiful. Work on balance and work on opening the quad in this shape. If you want to start to kick into dancers, press your foot into your hand and allow your body to naturally hinge forward. You might pause here, reaching towards the front of the room, or maybe you start to take your right hand down towards a block or down towards the mat. Continue wherever you are to kick into your hands. Even if you fall out, there's nothing to say you can't come back in. Even if you feel a little unsteady, take another breath. Slow down that urge to move or shift. All right, you guys, this looks really, really good. If you are in candy cane with your hand on the block or the ground, slowly start to lift up. Really, really challenging transition, so it's okay if it's a little bit messy. Take your left knee into your chest, give yourself a nice big squeeze, and then gently release your foot down. Feet hip width distance apart. Roll out your shoulders, roll out ankles, shake out your legs or your hands. Okay, you made it through. That was our peak pose, so now we just get to relax. Inhale, breath, reach all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, bend into your knees, spill over your legs. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a tabletop, one knee at a time, lowers down. You take your knees and big toes together to touch. Tuck your toes under and start to walk your hands back so that you sit your hips on your heels. Okay, I lied. This one also isn't super nice, but it'll be really, really good for the feet after balancing. If this feels too much on your knees, just take a pillow behind the back of your knees so that you're not quite sitting with so much pressure on them. Reach back around, tuck your pinky toes. They like to escape. And we're just gonna pause here for about 5-6 breaths. If you want more sensation, slide your knees further forward, lean back. Soften through your shoulders, close your eyes. And just breathe. Feel the sensation of your feet. And then feel that movement of your breath guiding you through. One more full breath in. And long breath out. Walk your hands forward, tabletop. Untuck your toes. Take the tops of your feet to your mat. You're not done just yet. Set your hips back onto your heels again. Okay, so you're sitting onto the tops of your feet now. Opposite stretch of your feet. You can stay here. You can walk your fingertips back, lean into your hands. As long as there's no pulling on your knees, you can float your knees off your mat to come into intense ankle stretch. 3 breaths this time. Try to keep your body soft as you work through some of this discomfort or sensation. Okay. And then on your exhale, if your knees are lifted, gently release them back down. Walk your hands into your body. Slide your hands forward and meet onto your seat. Feet scoot out to either side. Sit down on your hips and swing your legs out in front. Okay. Now you can shift side to side and pick up the soft bits, so you really root down through your sits bones. If legs fully extended doesn't serve you, you can always take pillows or blocks underneath your knees so you have a bit of that bend in the legs. Inhale, breath, reach up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. A little bit different than when we started practice. You don't necessarily need that full body lengthening. This is relaxing. So tuck your chin to your chest. Allow your shoulders to spill forward. And just breathe into the back of your rib cage. Allow the muscles alongside your spine to release, almost like they're melting away from their connections to your bones. Body gets heavier with each exhale breath. And notice where you've landed here. If you are carrying anything from those last couple poses or from this past time together here on our mats, can you simply just let that go? And simplify down to breath in and breath out. It's not just new each time we land on our mat, but each breath we take, I truly believe, is an opportunity to change our day, our year, our life. And so in this breath, you can choose to let go of something that's not serving you. And you can choose to invite in what you need in this moment. Let your head come up last. Walk your hands alongside your legs. Stack your bones 1 vertebra at a time. Okay. Walk your hands back behind you. Bend your knees to plant your feet wide. And just gently toss your knees left and right. Left and right. We'll slowly make our way onto our back over the next few breaths. So stay here as long as you need. And then when you're ready, you can start to lower down to your forearms and roll down onto your spine. Okay, once you've landed onto your back, take your knees into your chest and just give yourself a nice big squeeze. Embracing all of your body today. So even the parts of yourself that maybe you normally tuck away or the things that didn't go right, just give that all a hug. Give it all some love and know that it's worthy, even if it's not showing up as you might have expected or wanted to. You might feel nice to rock side to side. Last couple of breaths. Keep your right knee in towards your chest. Hands start to interlace on top of your right shin. Extend your left leg out long and slowly float your left heel down towards the ground, wind relieving pose. Take your right knee to the side of your rib cage. Feel compression into your right hip and length into your left. If the shin isn't available, you can always grab your hamstring. Let the back of your head rest heavy. Try to do less work here. So you're not trying to pull yourself into anywhere. Just letting gravity and the weight of your body bring you into this shape. And bring your right knee back through center. Slide your left heel up so your left foot plants. And cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh, figure four. You're welcome to stay here if that feels like enough of an opening for your right hip. You can even press your right hand into your inner thigh, draw your knee away from you. Optional to float your left foot off your mat and interlace your hands like you're threading a needle with your right hand between your legs. Maybe they land on your hamstring or on your shin. Both of these poses, make sure your right foot is flexed, so your right toes are turned up towards the right shin. I'm a big fan of movement here, so if it does feel okay, there's no pulling on your knees, you can always gently take your knees to the left and to the right. And just really, really subtle movement. And then gently, if your foot is lifted, you can gently release your left foot towards the ground. Optional to come into figure four twist here. So you can stay as you are and lower your knees to the left, or if you prefer, you can untangle your legs. Shift your hips to the right and then lower knees to the left. Okay, so just finding a twist of your choice. If you want to stay in that hip opener, keep the figure four, and your right foot will plant on the ground. You can always bind your right foot with your left hand, can be a nice place to stabilize. Gaze can come over your right shoulder. Soften your body into your mat, allowing your muscles to release from having to do work. And then on your next inhale breath, you can unwind back up through center, untangle your legs if you were in figure four, walk your feet wide, and once again, just wash out your hips, knees to the left and to the right. Wind relieving pose on the other side. Heel toe your feet in closer, left knee draws into your chest, hands interlace on your left shin. Extend your right leg out long. Once you've landed in this shape, you can play with more depth by bringing your left knee more to the side of your rib cage. So left knee is towards your left shoulder. And begin to carve out space for you to just land here. Carve out some space for you to simply breathe. Bring your left knee back over top of your body. Slide your right heel in so your right foot plants. Figure four on the other side. Left ankle crosses your left shin. Turn your toes up towards the ceiling so that that left foot is flexed. Optional, stay here, pressing to your inner thigh, or float your foot off of the mat, threading the needle. Optional to find movement if that felt nourishing. On the other side, become more aware of your breath, especially if any distractions have started to come up. Allow your breath to be your anchor to this moment. Really relishing in these last few moments of class where we don't need to be anywhere else but exactly right here. And then yogi's choice, figure 4 twist or traditional twist. Right heel comes down towards the earth. Figure 4, keep your legs as they are and lower your knees over to the right so your left foot plants. Or optional, untangle your legs and take both knees to the right with your left leg just stacking over top. Can you find a little bit more depth for your breath in this shape? Maybe sinking into your exhale. Reminder that it's okay to just breathe and become aware of inhales and exhales, allowing them to slow down. And as you slow down your breath, slowing down the nervous system to come into the parasympathetic. On your next inhale breath, you can gently unwind, untangle your legs. Take any final movements. That could be knees back through center. It could be a happy baby, waterfall, shoulder stand. There's no right or wrong. Okay. And you're just going to simply use these next few breaths to unwind any leftover tension so that you can come into Shavasana and be in complete relaxation and complete stillness. Once again, check in with where you've landed, whether you're still moving or in another pose or you're in Shavasana. With where you've landed in your own body, energetically, maybe feeling a little bit more full, maybe even physically, just feeling more open. And if there is still a lack of energy or you're still feeling not quite re-energized or to the brim, know that that's okay. That yoga doesn't have to fix our entire day, but it is a moment where we can check in and just be gentle with ourselves. So no matter how you've landed today, I offer you the space to be gentle, to be kind with however that last hour went, and to take this lesson through the rest of your day, that no matter moment to moment what shows up, there's room to breathe. There's room to soften and relax. I'll leave you here for about a minute or so in stillness and silence on my end. And I'll bring you out of this when we're ready. So you can just enjoy this time for yourself. Bring your awareness back towards your breath. Start to notice your physical body. If you need to stay here in Shavasana to close off practice, you can just simply bring your hands to your heart. If you're ready to shift towards the rest of your day, you can start to make these small movements into fingertips and toes, maybe circling ankles and wrists. Maybe even give yourself a big good morning stretch and reach overhead and lengthen your body. And then over the next few breaths, if you are coming out of Shavasana, you can make your way to seated. Optional to keep your eyes closed. Hands landing at heart center. Send some gratitude towards yourself for just showing up and letting those expectations of what yoga has to look like today. That your practice isn't about getting into any particular pose or finding perfection. It truly is just an act of self-love, of showing up for yourself as you are and saying, I love you anyways. So maybe repeat that to yourself right before you close off your practice. I see where you are and I love you anyways. From the bottom of my heart, so much love, so much gratitude. Namaste. Thank you.